Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we've got the long-awaited video, the review of the KTM 790 Duke. We're not going to mess around today, we're going to get straight into it. If there is anything I do miss in this video, please leave a comment, let me know, ask any questions you want to ask, and I'll try and answer them best I can in the comments. But here she is, let's get straight into it. So to begin with, this exact model is a 2024 790 Duke A2 restricted. So if you guys are looking at getting your A2 license soon, and you're looking at getting a 790 Duke, this is a video for you. So to begin with then, the engine size is a 799cc engine, parallel twin, liquid cooled, and it's also actually made by CF Moto in China. A lot of people hear that and they'll be like, oh my God, it's a Chinese bike. But partnered with KTM, the reliability and the quality of parts that they've been using with CF Moto have gone right up. So there's no reason to worry. And if you Google yourself, take 30 seconds to look at CF Moto on Google, look at the reliability reviews, they're actually really good. So this is the European model because the standard KTM Dukes 790s overseas actually have 105 brake horsepower, and the reason they made a European model for the A2 license is because they knew the demand was there, people knew how popular the A2 license is in the UK and well in Europe. So then they made a model with 95 brake horsepower, because as we know, to get a bike restricted for the A2 license, it can't be restricted to more than half its power. This bike has got 4 ride modes, it's got street mode, it's got rain mode, and it's got sports mode. The last mode is track, which is an additional extra you can pay to have on, just added onto the electrics. The mileage on this bike specifically that I've done is just under 4,000 and I got it with 3,000 on, so I've actually only done around just over 1,000 miles on it, which isn't too bad really. 1,000 miles is a lot of miles for a new bike. And why did I choose a KTM? Well, I chose KTM. I used to ride a 125 Duke and I absolutely loved it. No KTM, the torquey, and that's exactly why I got this bike. 87 Newton meters of torque. And the question you might be asking, well, does the torque decrease with the A2 restriction? By an almighty 2. Yeah, 2 Newton meters of torque. It goes from 87 Newton meters of torque to 85 Newton meters of torque. So it's little to no difference at all. You won't be able to notice it. But horsepower is all about top speed. We know this. And torque is what you can actually feel on the bike, which I'll show you in the riding section of this video in a little while. My first impressions, if you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know I absolutely love it. The torque is unbelievable. It is such, I mean, my last bike, like I say, were a 125 Duke. The upgrade was massive. You can absolutely feel it. It's still, you know, I've done, like I said, just over 1,000 miles on it. Do I feel like I've got used to the speed now? Do I feel like I've got used to the power? Absolutely not. This bike just surprises me every time I get out on it. I really can't praise KTM enough. I love KTM. Now, I'm not fishing for a partnership, but if KTM, if you are watching by any chance, then yeah, please, that'd be awesome. Just in case I missed it, so when a bike is A2 restricted, it goes down to 47 brake horsepower. And going back to the A2 rule, you can't restrict a bike to more than half its power. So if a bike is more than 94 brake horsepower, it can't be restricted for the A2 license. So getting into specifics, the seat height on this bike is 825 millimeters. I am 6 foot tall, so I'd even say 6'1" with shoes on. And I don't think I look too big on this bike. The KTM 125 Duke, I think I looked a little bit big. For the 790, it is a much bigger bike. It feels like a big bike. It feels taller, although I think the seat heights are surprisingly very similar compared with the 125 and the 790. KTM do offer a lower seat option, which puts down the seat height to 805. So if you are a little bit shorter, there is that extra optional seat height, which is quite good. This bike has a dry weight of 177 kg, which is absolutely nothing when it comes to a bike that's touching 800cc. It is so good. Most bikes that are in the 600cc range and above are touching 200 kg to even more than that, 210 kg, and this at a dry weight sits at 177 kg. Like, this is why it's a great bike for me personally. I mean, I'm freestone wet through, you know what I mean? So when I'm on this bike, it just, even though it's A2 restricted, with its 177 kilos, it just goes and it's great. I love it. It's got a 14 litre tank, so yeah, you can fit a bit of petrol in it, but you know, that's not really, it's just a bit of a number to tick off for you. Funnily enough, now this is most likely because it's A2 restricted and it doesn't open up the full rev limiter, and I will go on to that, to the specifics of that later on in this video. But I'm hitting around a 73 miles per gallon on this bike. For people who know a little bit about bikes and petrol and mileage, etc., like, that's crazy. I mean, that's to a UK gallon, don't get me wrong, but that's 73 miles per gallon. That is crazy. But it's most likely down to the fact that it doesn't rev high. You know, I think it goes to around 12,000 revs, 13,000 revs. And for the A2 restrictable rev limiter, it doesn't go past 7,500. It's a really weird sensation when you're on the bike, but that's what the A2 restriction does. It only takes off the top end power. So people might be sat there thinking, especially comparing the 390 to 790, Well, do I get the 390 because it's a lighter bike, and out the factory it'll have the same horsepower as the 790, so will technically the 390 be quicker? Absolutely not. Like I say, the 790, it's got that torque, it's got that pull, it's got that power. It just doesn't rev higher than 7,500 revs, but trust me, when you're out on the road, which will be soon, you see it absolutely makes zero difference getting up to speed. So if you're on an A2 licence or you're getting onto an A2 licence, you're thinking, do I get the 790 or will it be too slow getting up to speed? No, it's not, trust me. You will feel it, especially if you've come from a 125. It is a madness. So for the forks, we've got the WP Apex, non-adjustable, unfortunately, for all you street riders, but you know, you can't have everything. And for the back as well, WP Apex rear shock absorbers. For the front brakes, we've got two 300mm discs with 4 piston radial calipers. And for the rear brake, a 240mm disc with only 1 piston. Now let's talk electrics, because we know KTM love their electrics, and you know, it can be a negative thing in a way, but the extra electric that this bike does have, it has ABS, it has traction control, it does have optional quick shifter up and down, which I do have on this bike, and it also has a slipper clutch as well. Of course, it has the LED display, which is lovely, also known as the TFT dash. Some people might be asking, how is it to see, like in the sun, in the dark? It does change to a darker colour and the lights slightly go brighter when it is dark, when you go through tunnels and stuff like that, so absolutely no worries about seeing it when lighting is a bit of an issue. In sunlight, sort of like anything, if you get sunlight on your phone or any sort of screen, it can hinder the sight a little bit. But personally, I've never had any issues, you know, going along and there's a speed camera and then the sun hits my screen and I can't see what speed I'm going. I've never had that personally, so I don't see that being an issue for anyone else. Now for the wheels then, the front tyre is 120 by 70 and the rear is a 180 by 55. And the brand that they use stock, I'm pretty sure anyway, is the Maxxis Supermax ST. I mean, just a few little extras this bike has. I mean, this is all down to the original owner because I didn't put these on. But the crash bobbins you've got here from Evotech. If you're going to get a 790, slap them on. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're like 200 quid them as a pair, so they're not cheap, but they're definitely worth having on your bike. Like I say, it's got the quick shifter, which were an extra, like an optional addition. Some more crash bobbins down the side. This also has an extra little USB added onto it as well, so you can charge your phone, do whatever you want with that, it's great. And also one quick thing to mention, this has a sticker kit on it, so if you're looking for a 790 you're thinking, hey, why does that one look so plain? They do look pretty plain, I won't lie. I don't even think it has these on either. These are just for the so it don't get scratched by your keys and your gear and your leathers and stuff, but even down to the tank that I'll show in the video now, like a carbon fibre, it's all stickers, but I like it, you know, I really like it. I massively prefer the 790s with the sticker kit on them. Also come in a grey as well, so wherever you see orange right now would be grey. This black and the dark grey and stuff, that would be all the same across both models. Also, one security feature this bike has, which is great, is the KTM road lock. Again, these aren't cheap, unfortunately. But yeah, when we're looking at 790s, how much do they cost? You know, what is it like insuring this thing? Me, I'm 21 years of age, I've been driving a car since I was 17, and I got my A2 a few months ago and had this insured within 2 months of picking up my A2. So for the bike price, I paid a whopping £4,850. I mean, the guy who sold it to me was incredibly generous. Carl, if you're watching, shout out to Carl. But yeah, I think if you're looking at a 2024 KTM 790 Duke, you're looking around that £5 mark, especially with ones with lower mileage. You get them even cheaper with obviously higher mileage on them, but then you're factoring in that risk. Now, a few little extras to talk about. These mirrors. These mirrors will be gone to the hills as soon as I can do that. I don't really like them. Obviously, you get better visibility with these rather compared to the bar end mirrors. Obviously, they don't look very nice. I think the bar end mirrors do make it look a bit more low down and a bit more aggressive. I had them on my 125 Duke, but yeah, as for these mirrors, they're the stock mirrors. I don't really like them, I'll be honest, but what can you do? As for like the indicator buttons and stuff like that, very easy to operate when you've got your gloves on, no issues at all. They're very clicky, if that even is a word. But yeah, no complaints there for me. How much did I pay for insurance, you're probably asking? Well, I paid £1,400. Yeah, fully comp for the year. A funny little story about my insurance. So I was supposed to pick this bike up on a certain day and I had the quote like 28 days in advance to that day and it was £900 for the year. I thought, that is a bargain. Roll on the time. Funnily enough, a few days before, or even on the day I was supposed to pick it up, I had a coolant leak and it was actually that, I think it was the top hose pipe. It just needed a new one fitting for whatever reason. But anyway, after that was done, that was when the quote ran out, unfortunately. So then I had to do the quote again for a few days after, literally 3 days after, to pick it up. And the price jumped from £900 to £1,400 because, as we know with insurance, the longer you anticipate it to start, the cheaper it's going to be. So yeah, I got royally done over there, I think, so thanks for that insurance. But on the whole, you know, to pay under £5,000 for this bike, to insure it for 1,400. But listen, I'm not moneybags, but that's not bad, is it, really? Like I say, to be 21-year-old on a 790 Duke is a blessing, and it is so, so great. It is so fun. One thing I do want to mention, apologies if I'm jumping around like a madman, no under seat storage really. You could fit a sheet of paper, I believe, under this seat. As for pillion passengers, it's got passenger pegs. You can get these taken off if you want, but that's just personal preference. I mean, the stock exhaust as well looks, well, like that. It's not the best looking, although it does sound pretty nice, which I'll show you right now. So there you go, it sounds pretty damn lovely. But yeah, I don't think there's much else to go through in terms of looking around the bike. So we'll get out on the bike now, talk through how it handles and stuff, the braking, etc., the acceleration, and you can see just for yourself how well it keeps up with traffic, overtakes cars, gets out at roundabouts, junctions, etc. So yeah, let's get on the bike. So we're starting this riding section off in Tim Horton's drive-through car park. Let's have it. So a little thing to know about the 790, well, not even 790, just Dukes in general, because it was on my 125 Duke. When you turn the bike on, the ABS light stays on, and when you reach about 5 miles an hour it turns off. So if you get your first Duke and you think it's broke as soon as you've got it, it's not. Don't worry about it. God, I'm knackered. This heat has taken it out of me. Gee whiz, he come round that corner a bit quick. Let's talk about the throttle to begin with. Is it snatchy? Is it snappy? Now, it's very snappy, which is a good thing. But in terms of responsiveness, sports mode specifically is the most snatchiest when it comes to the throttle response, as you'd expect. I mean, there's a roundabout for you, straight out, no issues. I mean, the clutch, everything, it's so smooth. Like, we'll do a bit of a drag just here. It's quick. The clutch is smooth, the gears feel nice, they're not too clunky, you don't have to bash it up through gears. Hearing me, that mirror on it, gee whiz, there we go. Pointing up to the sun, it's like a magnifying glass. It's just such a smooth bike to ride. And the reason they say it's the scalpel for corners, well, you'll only know if you get on one. But because of how light it is and how snatchy it is, you can throw it into corners pretty confidently. And in terms of like missed neutrals and stuff, not very often. It's got its little snags. I think it's quite sticky clutch or something like that, but when you first start it, pushing it down into first, sometimes it just won't go in. You'll have to like rest your foot on first and push down a little as you let the clutch out to the biting point, and it'll clunk into first. Not in a bad way, clunk's a bit of a bad word, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is obviously the most fun I've ever had on a bike. I had a 125 Duke before this, and this 790 just absolutely blows it out the water. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get a chance to show you the restriction kicking in, but like I mentioned in the video earlier, when it hits literally bang on in between 7 and 8,000 revs, it doesn't go any higher. It just sort of stays at that revs. And obviously with that, your speed don't go any higher, the revs don't go any higher. And that's again probably part of the reason why my mileage to gallon's so good, because it just hasn't been revving all the way up to 11,000, which it can do. But yeah, sitting at lights, like you feel like you're on a big bike, and it's brilliant. Like I mentioned, the indicators and stuff like that, very easy to click on and off like that, extremely easy. Like I said, the buttons are very clickable, do you know what I mean, even with gloves on. So it's very easy if you want to switch into rain mode, if roads start getting a little bit wet, it's very easy to do so whilst you're riding, which is good. And as mentioned, the mirrors, I mean, yeah, greater visibility compared to bar end mirrors, but all in all, mirrors aren't really great on a motorbike anyway, and these don't really look too great, so I am going to get some bar end ones. Now, if I go on the motorway on the way back, I'll be able to show you that rev limiter kicking in, and you can see for yourself. But look, this is why, what do I big up the Dukes most about? It's the torque. I mean, torque is what you can feel, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't really feel horsepower. You can in the top range, in the high speeds, but ultimately, like, I'm in fourth at 45 mile an hour, give or take. And you just twist that throttle, and I can't explain the feeling. It's almost like a deep grunt
under your ass. Like that's what you can feel, do you know what I mean? The bike just wants to go constantly. Bear in mind, this is a restricted Duke as well, so if you're watching this and maybe you're getting your full license, you're going to get an unrestricted 790, well, good luck, because I mean, this is a good example of a speed. As you can see, went from second there straight up to, you know, touching 60 with ease. As for downshifting, look, bit of rev matching, it's so smooth. The gearbox is so smooth, and the sound as well. Like, obviously I did that preview earlier, which would sound a lot better than what it does now because I had the mic literally there. But yeah, if you heard that, it sounds mint, and that's stock as well. But yeah, it's a bit sunny now on the camera. You might not be able to see the display. I can absolutely see everything on there, so the sun on the screen is not an issue. Right, second 30. And when you do turn traction control off, that front end, it just does this. Every time you twist back on that throttle in lower gears, it just lifts. And it is such a fun ride. Obviously I've got traction control on, so it's sort of like anti-wheelie, you could say, kind of. I think that's how it acts on this bike. Anyway, I'll turn right here so we can get to the motorway, and I'll show you the rev limiter going up the slip road, and you'll be able to see for yourself. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I think Dukes, if you look after them, they'll look after you type thing. Now you can get really unlucky. Let's plug my phone in, thank you. You can get really unlucky, obviously, but on the whole, if you look after it, the bike will look after you. Do your services, and ultimately this bike has been made to be ridden like a bike. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what KTMs are, the street bikes. Could you say that? Is that a bit of a rubbish opinion? Do I not know what I'm talking about? Am I going to get a hate comment because of that? But KTMs give me the vibe of, you know, I mean, all their marketing stunts, they've always got people ragging the bikes around car parks, doing stoppies, literally bouncing off the back wheel onto the front. Like, it's madness what these stunt riders can do on the Dukes. But that's on the Dukes, that's on these bikes. I mean, they've just released the 2027 790 Duke, which, wow, the all black one looks mint. Bit of power there for you. But yeah, all the videos they put out on the new 790, they're just like, they've got it on track and they're just spinning it into corners, and it just, and the wheeling from out of a corner, honestly, it looks mint. But that's my point, is that's what KTMs are. They're a very fun bike. The torque is fun, the torque is powerful, and like I say, with the A2 restriction, honestly, the torque is more or less the exact same. So I'll see if I can show you this rev limiter. Although I'm going to have to get up the gears because this guy will be going the motorway too. Let's see if I can show you. So let's go, I'm in second. As you could see, it didn't want to go any higher than 7.5. That's obviously for good reason. It's restricted, it's supposed to do that. I mean, the wind noise on the motorway is absolutely despicable, so I only really wanted to come on just to show you the rev limiter, but let's get over now. Let's behave. I mean, that's a good point to mention, actually, the wind. I mean, you can get these screens here which will blow the wind over the top of you and you don't feel it as much, but I mean, that truck is so far up his arse. Like, do you know what I mean? Look how close that is. As for comfort as well, like, your legs, they're very nicely placed. You sort of hug the tank. The seat is quite big, so you can sit a bit further forward if you fancy. You can sit a bit further back. You're not sort of leant over. Obviously, it is a naked bike, so you do have that comfort of sitting up and not laid down like a sports bike. One thing I definitely noticed coming from a 125 though is my arms and fingers were aching like mad after the first few rides, because you hold on so tight because it's so nippy, this bike, you feel like it's just going to fly off. But yeah, I mean, look, it's an A2 restricted bike. It's been restricted down to 47 brake horsepower. It's still got the 85, 87 newton meters of torque, and you can most definitely feel it. It's more than enough for what you need on UK roads, really. Don't get me wrong, when the chance arrives to get a 1290, I'm getting a 1290, but that's just to tick the dream bike off the list, you see. But realistically, this bike, it does everything you need it to do. It pulls it handles well, it's good on fuel. I mean, just to talk about engine braking, I'm in third right now, second. I mean, it's sort of two types of engine braking, isn't there? It's when you let off the throttle and how much does it de-accelerate itself just after letting go of the throttle. Quite some. I mean, it's not something I'd pick out and be like, Jesus, yeah, like well, as soon as you let go of that throttle, it dumps. I can't say I've noticed that. Going down the gears, it de-accelerates nicely, makes a bit of nice noise. But yeah, for those who are wondering about the engine braking, it's not like, because I think if you Google it, it sort of makes out that as soon as you roll off that throttle, that your speed just tanks. And I wouldn't really agree, to be honest. I mean, it's each to their own, innit? If you're a bit of a heavier individual, it might do so. But like I mentioned previously in the video, I am freestone wet through. So this bike is like, it's got no on it. It's brilliant. So the quick shifter, you've seen me use it. Every time I've gone up quite quickly in speed, I have used the quick shifter. I don't really use it going down, I'll be honest. I don't really like using it when it's going down. I don't know what it is, it just feels a lot more clunky than when you're going up. I mean, when you're in high revs, it definitely feels, both for going up and going down, it feels more fluid. You don't feel like you're braking out when you're at high revs, and it is really satisfying to use, I won't lie. It's nice to use, you know what I mean? I do like using the clutch for going up the gears, but like if I'm just going to third now, I'm not gonna use the quick shifter, do you know what I mean? I'm going under 30 mile an hour. But if I'm going 40, 50 in second, third, and I'm shifting up, then I'll use the quick shifter. It just completely depends on the speed and the revs at which you're at. And completely on the opposite as well. I mean, second, I'm not going to use the downshifter to first. I could do, but it feels clunky, and if it feels clunky, it's probably not good for it, do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to bother. And for those wondering how the quick shifters work, well, quite simply, you don't use the clutch when you're changing gear, whether that's going up or down. You quite simply just roll off the throttle. Well, saying that, those wondering how the quick shifters actually work, well, for going up, when your throttle's pinned back, you leave it there, and you leave your clutch entirely, and you just go up the gears with your left foot as you would normally. It's just completely removing the need for the clutch. But yeah, I mean, look, 20 mile an hour second, it just wants to go, doesn't it? Like, and like I say, if I had traction control off now and I did this, the front end would probably lift a little bit, but I wouldn't advise that, by the way. To mention the comfort, actually, to get that ticked off on long rides, the seat, you feel the seat, you press down on it when you're not on it, and it feels like the comfiest thing ever. But if you want to go to the seaside and you're in Bradford like me, and it's a 2.5 hour ride, you feel it by an hour and a half, like it hurts. I think that's probably like most seats really. But you know, for short decent journeys, for, you know, if you're commuting or just doing short journeys in general, the seat is comfy, and the pillion is actually way more comfier than the main seat, which is rude. If you do fancy seeing 0 to 60 on this bike, by the way, by all means go to my Oliver's Mount video, because we actually went to the Oliver's Mount racing track, and we set off as if we was racing from the start line, in which the racers do, and I recorded a nice little 0 to 60 there. It gets about just over 4 seconds, which is really, really good when you think about it. 4 seconds 0 to 60 for a restricted A2 bike is pretty damn quick. But yeah, I think I've covered pretty much everything. I mean, obviously let me know guys if I've missed out. I'm sure I have. But leave a comment, like I say at the start of the video, leave any questions you might have, I'll answer them as best as I can. And yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.